welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. It is my Netflix best stuff that I would recommend to people, stuff that you might enjoy if we have the same interests, and yeah. So if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you guys have any recommendations of your own, go ahead and leave them down in the comment box down below. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the video. Okay, so some of the stuff that is on this list, like I said, is of course my preferences. Some things that I would definitely recommend to people. So if we do have the same interests, you might enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my first thing that is on my list. It is the documentary of Time, the Kalief Browder story. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail because I definitely wholeheartedly think this is something for everyone to watch. Now, Kalief Browder, he was a teenager in the Bronx, New York, you know, going home from a party when he was actually pulled to the side by a police officer. They let him know, we're going to take you in, we're going to do some questioning. Needless to say, he spent 3 years in jail, most of which he spent in solitary confinement for something that he didn't do, which was steal a backpack. He was basically not guilty. At the end of the day, his trial was dismissed and he was set free like nothing even happened. But throughout this time frame, he goes into depth about his experience, what he had to endure being in jail and knowing he did not do something and not taking a plea deal, which is very popular in the state of New York. So honestly, it teaches you something about the justice system, how the justice system failed Kalief Browder, and how ultimately it led to him taking his life. So I definitely recommend you guys to watch that. So the first one, Time, the Kalief Browder story. The second one is no surprise for anybody who really knows me. So I am a vampire fanatic, like OD. Vampire Diaries is on my list. So it starts off with the main character, Elena Gilbert, and basically it just walks through the city, Virginia, that has been well aware of vampires since the 1800s, and they don't play no games when it comes to them. Now, a vampire has come back to his hometown, and a lot of things happen during this process. And honestly, you might think, oh, this is such like a mini like chick flick soap opera type thing. It's not even like that, boo. Not even like that. So definitely will give you guys a big huge recommendation to watch Vampire Diaries. So the third one isn't a surprise either. It is one of my favorite shows to ever exist in existence of existence. That didn't make sense. Anyways, it is Grey's Anatomy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Save your thoughts. Give me a second. Let me speak. So, Grey's Anatomy and I have this thing. And honestly, it's so hard to stop watching Grey's Anatomy after you've been hooked on it for the longest. It's so annoying because just so many things happen. The main character, Meredith Grey, starts off as an intern, and it goes into details on her journey as an intern, as a resident, her doing her fellowship, and her even becoming a doctor, and the stuff she had to endure during the whole process. So that's definitely something to watch. You will get agitated during like 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons. Not to mention 11. 11 was hard. So yeah, I would still recommend it. Make sure that when you do watch it, you have a box of tissues with you though. Full recommendation. That is number 3. Número 4 is Being Mary Jane. Now, Being Mary Jane is with the actor Gabrielle Union, and basically she is a news anchor who is African American, of course, and she is amazing, needless to say. Yes. My watch just told me that I am having a very active day. Oh yeah. Okay, so Mary Jane, she's a news anchor and she is single. She has a family she takes care of. Not completely, they have their own lives, but she also is like the main one who holds up the weight for her family. She's always there for them, and it just goes upon her life as an anchor and what she has to endure and what she wants to achieve. So all right, the fifth one is The People versus O.J. Simpson. Now, just to let you guys know, I have my iPad right here, so that is what I'm looking at. Now, the next show is New Girl, and basically it is one of the funniest shows, if not funniest. It is a really funny show. Basically, the main character, which is Zoe Deschanel, she is a teacher. And one day she comes home early and she's going to surprise her boyfriend. So she has nothing underneath the trench coat. And when she gets there, she's like, da-na-na-na-na-na. She turns around and guess who's there? Her boyfriend. And a girl he was sleeping with. Yep, I said it. So he was cheating on her. And she finds herself looking for roommates, looking for a place to live because she's so sick of living with her best friend and her model roommates. So she ends up finding an ad, and when she goes, it's 3 guys. And she obviously ends up becoming a roommate of theirs. And it goes into the journey of her like recovering from her breakup and how they helped her. And it just shows their journey together in general. Next, it is... Todo el mundo sabe de este show. Pero, basically, what it is entailing. So, Jane the Virgin is pretty simple to understand. She was a virgin until she was in her mid-20s. And she was saving herself for marriage. And she was protecting her cookie. So... she goes to get a procedure done at her doctor's office, and she ends up getting inseminated with a man's sperm. She suddenly finds out that it was something that was done incorrectly, so she starts feeling a bit horrible, and she goes to the ER, and when they come back, they tell her, "Ma'am, you're pregnant." And she's like, that can't be right. And her mom is with her, and she's like, oh, that can't be right, because her mom's not your typical mom. Xiomara is really, really cool. But anyways, she now is dumbfounded. She's like, I'm pregnant, but I've never had sex. This is like the thing that I was preventing. And then she finds out that her baby's daddy is the owner of the hotel she works for. So it is a pretty juicy story, and it goes into detail about her love life, and it's really good. I recommend it, definitely. The next one is Supergirl. So, Supergirl is Superman's cousin. So, basically, Kara is sent to Earth at 12 years old to protect her cousin Kal-El, who at that point in time, he was a baby. And he gets sent to Earth, but she gets stuck. So who ends up finding her? Her cousin Kal-El. So her cousin is all grown up when he finds her, and he is obviously an adult, and she is still stuck in her 12-year-old form. So she goes ahead to live a normal life. She becomes a assistant. She ends up working for Catco, which is pretty big in her city, and eventually she comes to the realization that she has these powers that she can't use, or that she's scared to use. So what she ends up doing is she ends up finally using her powers, and she comes out of the woodworks and ends up becoming one of the best things she could ever do. So she ends up saving the world and doing all that good stuff. The next one is Deuces. It is not a show, it's a movie. And it honestly is a story about this drug lord and these cops who are trying to infiltrate his gang. And one of the cops that is trying to infiltrate his gang is Lance Gross. and he makes his way into the gang and then suddenly finds out that the drug lord's girlfriend is actually his sister. So in that, there is a love story about her and him, how they met, how they're in love, and her brother who is trying to actually infiltrate his gang. And eventually his loyalty ends up lying with him because of their close bond. So it is a really good movie. I definitely recommend that. The next thing on my list is Dexter. So Dexter is... Daytime Dexter is basically a blood splatter specialist. I think that's what it's called. Anyways, he's the one who goes to the crime scene, finds out how someone died, how the blood reflects the death and all that good stuff. And at night, he has a secret identity. So he actually kills those that get away whenever he finds them. So for example, like, let's say this guy is definitely guilty, but the police says he's not guilty, we can't do anything about this. He takes care of them. And it's pretty scary, but he has such a good heart. It's really hard to explain. I'm trying as much as I can, but there's no way to put this. But yeah, he's a good person. So yeah, you guys have to watch that. It's a really weird, great show. And it's on Netflix. The next thing on my list is Girl Boss. And basically, she is just a 20-some-odd-year-old girl trying to figure it out. She has not had her shit together ever in her life. And suddenly she comes up with the idea of turning clothing, like vintage clothing, into like newer, cooler versions to wear. And she creates her own shop, and it just turns out really good for her because she ends up making money out of it, and she turns into a whole business, and it shows how her determination got her to where. The next thing is definitely something that I grew up on, and if we're around the same age, then you know what I'm talking about. It's The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Next one is Brotherly Love, and Brotherly Love is basically about an older brother who is basically the breadwinner of the family. He's the one who, you know, keeps the house lights on. He's the one who's out there hustling to make sure that his little sister and little brother are doing what they have to do in life, going to school, making right grades. He's basically the father figure in a home where the mom is basically an alcoholic, and he's a hustler. So he sells drugs, he's doing stuff that he shouldn't, but along the way, his younger sister falls in love with this guy, and sadly, it turns out horrible, but it's a cute little love story. Next is a spin-off from Vampire Diaries. It's called The Originals, and basically, it goes into details about the original vampires and their life in Louisiana, and basically picking family throughout the whole process. That pretty much ends my list. I hope you guys definitely enjoyed this. I definitely was looking to try something completely different than what I'm usually doing with like makeup. I'm definitely going to be incorporating a couple of different lifestyle things in my upcoming videos. So yeah, I hope you guys definitely enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in my next video. Bye!